Albany, the changing views of Governor Hochul. It is a critical time for the governor, with the first budget passed and a primary battle less than 2 months away now. And the newest Siena poll doesn't exactly give her favorable marks. It also shows that most New Yorkers aren't very happy with the money given away to the Bills Stadium project here in Western New York. Here to talk about that, Siena College pollster Steve Greenberg. Steve, thanks again for joining us.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
We want to start with what you found out about how New Yorkers view the governor, because it wasn't exactly overwhelmingly positive. Did the lieutenant governor's arrest and resignation factor into the poll at all with this?
It's hard to know specifically what factored in, but it's a bit of a mixed bag, but more on the negative side for the governor. On the good news side for the governor, her favorability rating remains reasonably strong, 44% favorable, 34% unfavorable. With Democrats, she's at a 60% favorable, which is very good. The bad news for the governor is her job performance. Right now, only 36% of New Yorkers give her a positive job performance rating. 57% give her a negative job performance rating. That's 21 points underwater, the worst it's been. And it's also part of a 3-month trend. Her job performance rating has dropped 19 points over the last 3 months.
We want to let our viewers know that we're going to be sharing more from the governor herself as far as her defense of the stadium funding coming up in our 6 o'clock news tonight. But Steve, if the stadium money ends up being an issue in the campaign, it sure doesn't look like a positive for the governor based on the numbers you put out today.
Absolutely not. Look, only 24% of New Yorkers approve of the deal that the state passed to give $600 million in state dollars toward the building of that new stadium. 63% of New Yorkers oppose it. But what may surprise some of your viewers is that there's actually more opposition upstate than downstate. New York City voters oppose the stadium deal 55 to 33%, or 22 points underwater. Upstaters, however, oppose it 68 to 18%, or 50 points underwater.
So finally, this is not specific to today's numbers, but we wanted to learn more about your methods, because every time we share a poll like this, we get a lot of questions from people who look at your sample and ask questions like, why so many Democrats, or why did you ask so many people from downstate? Can you help us out with answering those kinds of questions?
Sure. This is not a poll of what the electorate is going to look like, either the primary in June or the general election in November. This is a sample of the 12 million registered New York State voters. So if we look at all of New York State voters, 50% of them are Democrats, only 22% of them are Republicans. So more than twice as many Democrats as Republicans. That's why our poll reflects that. 40% of the enrolled voters in this state, or actually 39%, are in New York City. Only 35% are upstate. So there's more New York City voters in our poll than upstate voters. However, historic voting trends in a gubernatorial year, upstate generally outperforms its enrollment and votes at a higher rate than New York City voters. And Republicans outperform their enrollment disadvantage. They're still at a disadvantage. More Democrats will vote on election day than Republicans, but not more than twice as many. So when we move to looking at the election as we get closer to November, we'll then look at likely voters, and our sample will look very different than a sample of 12 million registered voters.
There you have it. We appreciate getting that big picture perspective. We've been talking with Siena College pollster Steve Greenberg. Steve, thanks again for being here.
Thanks for having me.